By a show of fingers, who's heard news about President Trump and Venezuela? Prior to tonight's session, who's heard news about President Trump and Venezuela? Four of you have. Ashley, what have you heard?
Well, I have to admit, I didn't hear the whole news story because it was on in the car while I was delivering packages, so I had to get out every 10 seconds. But um, I think Maduro's out. Trump's telling him to run. I didn't hear the whole news story.
Okay. What else have you guys heard?
Well, we've
But
Robert, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
we've moved an aircraft carrier into the region the other year, even though our aircraft carriers have been overstressed already fighting terrorism in the Middle East. And Trump, um, in his rants while his handlers were gone over Thanksgiving weekend, declared Venezuela airspace off limits to commercial airlines. And of course, Venezuela has more oil in it than Iraq or any other country. So it's good old Trump going after the mining resources, just like his threats against Greenland and Canada.
Okay. So on Saturday, President Trump issued this statement that Cindy's going to put on screen. To all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers, please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. And then on Sunday, when asked about this statement, he said the following. Cindy's going to play a short video clip. By a show of fingers, who has either seen the president's social media post that we just put on the screen or heard the comments that we just played? Three of you had. Okay. Bruce, what do you think President Trump's strategy is with Venezuela?
I find it interesting the timing that this is the week that the Monroe Doctrine was signed over 150 years ago. So if I'm an optimist, I would say he's enforcing the Monroe Doctrine that America is worrying about our hemisphere. And if the outcome is going to be that the duly elected president of Venezuela from the last election actually winds up being installed, then the ends will certainly be successful. But once again, I don't know if the means justify the ends.
Okay. Justin, what do you think the president's strategy is with Venezuela?
I think it's clear it's regime change, and it's, you know, this has been people like Rubio's dream growing up of, hey, we're going to use the US to get rid of our political enemies in this hemisphere where we come from. So, like they did, his parents are Cubans who are, right wing, and they were into overthrowing, all these regimes. So I think I think that he's going to go in with, it's going to get escalated because it's Trump.
Sorry, you're
Yeah.
getting right ahead of my next question, which I didn't want you to do. I love when my respondents are ahead of me, but I need to.
Okay.
It's nothing personal.
Yep.
By a show of fingers, who's concerned about a possible war between the U.S. and Venezuela? Show of fingers. Who's concerned about a possible war between the U.S. and Venezuela? Just two of you are. Okay. So since September 2nd, according to the Washington Post, the U.S. has attacked at least 20 boats in the Caribbean and the Eastern Pacific Ocean, suspected of carrying illegal drugs. In those attacks, at least 82 people have been killed. By a show of fingers, who supports using the U.S. military to take out suspected drug traffickers? I got one, Ashley. So, Ashley, the U.S. has not declared war on Venezuela or any other Latin American or Caribbean country. Why is it okay to kill people from those countries based solely upon a suspicion?
Well, I would think it would be more than a suspicion that they're acting on. I would think this is confirmed intel that they're acting on. I wouldn't think it would, I think it would be more than a suspicion.
How do you know for sure?
I don't know for sure. Neither do you. Is that what you asked? How do I know for sure?
Yeah, no, not how do you know for sure, but how does our government know for sure if they're basically looking at a boat?
Oh, well, I assume they've been watching that boat since it left its port and that they probably watched it get loaded up with cocaine or whatever from a drone or satellite somewhere. And I think we have the right to defend ourselves from any country or any person who's trying to bring in illicit substances that kill people.
Okay, so you're
Mhm.
okay in just taking those people out
Absolutely.
based upon just drone footage and whatever intelligence we may have.
Sure. Yeah. Based
Okay.
on confirmed intelligence. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we do that all over the world, I feel like.
Okay. So just so I understand this, so what just hypothetically, let's say the intelligence is faulty and what they're loading onto the boats is not drugs at all, and we take out 10 people in a strike, so based upon faulty intelligence, would that be troubling to you at all?
It would make me sad, but it wouldn't make me want to change anything other than the way that we vet our information.
Okay, got it. So for the other six of you who don't support this, President Trump has determined that the US is in a formal armed conflict with drug cartels. And he has also determined that the crews of the boats are combatants. Why isn't it okay to take them out?
Because there's something called due process. We just can't take your word for it. There's no safeguards in place. Also, the fact that Venezuela is linked to drug trafficking is laughable when you compare where the drugs are actually coming from. Um, the fentanyl's coming from China. There's cocaine coming from Colombia, Ecuador, maybe a little bit from Venezuela, but this is all bullshit. It's the same people who brought you the Iraq War, neoconservatives. All the people, it's deep people who he called deep state. So he's
Justin, got it. I need to hear from other people. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Other people tell me why it isn't okay. It is not okay to take these people out.
Even if the intelligence is 100% correct, this is not what America does and what America stands for. If the boats were not in international waters and not in Venezuelan waters, but in American waters, then I would absolutely support going after them first the legal way, which is stop and seizure. And if they either try to fight back or run, that would be the last option, would then to be blow them out of the water. But when they're not even in American waters, we have no right to be doing that.
Okay, got it. Anybody have a different reason other than Justin's or Bruce's for why you're opposed to doing it? Okay, so your reasons are the same as theirs. Got it. Okay. So President Trump just pardoned and released the former president of Honduras, Juan Orlando Hernandez, who was convicted last year of federal drug and weapons charges related to cocaine trafficking. Hernandez was serving a 45-year sentence. He claims he's innocent. By a show of fingers, who's heard this news that Trump let him out? 3 of you did. So, hearing about it now, I'd like to know whether you support the pardon, oppose the pardon, or don't know enough to have an opinion either way, based upon the little bit I just told you. Who supports the pardon of Hernandez? Anybody? No one. Who opposes it? 3 of you. And who doesn't know enough to have an opinion either way? 4 of you. Okay. Why do you oppose the pardon?
Ms. Scott,
Go ahead, Rebecca.
this case has to go through some legal process. Not just he's not the king.
Okay.
I just think consistency. How can you say we're gonna hunt and kill people who are like poisoning Americans with drugs when you literally let someone who was convicted of doing that go?
Got it. By a show of fingers, who has heard news about President Trump and Venezuela? David, Anthony, and Christian. Anybody else? The three of you. Christian, what have you heard?
I know that he's been trying to quote fight the drug cartel or the drug war coming from Venezuela. I also know that he recently carried out an attack on what's believed to be a Venezuelan ship smuggling drugs. I forget across which sea, but it was a boat with like a couple people on board. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Anthony, what did you hear about him in Venezuela?
Trump just threatened him. he just threatened him with action or an attack on military action against Venezuela if he doesn't comply.
Okay. Got it. So on Saturday, President Trump issued this statement, and Cindy's going to put it up on the screen for you guys. To all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers, please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. And on Sunday, when asked about this statement, the president said the following. I'm just going to play a video clip for you. By a show of fingers, who has either seen the president's social media post that we just put up or heard the comments he just played? Who had heard that before tonight? Anthony and David, two of you. Anthony, what do you think the president's strategy is for Venezuela?
I honestly think that he has a personal vendetta against them and for good reason. I believe that they unleashed a lot of their criminals and one of the biggest problems that they had in this country was the development of the gangs, the MS-13s or whatever you call these people. The Venezuelan president had an opportunity to work with Trump before, and he ignored Donald Trump's wishes to work with him to try to settle this, not taking accountability for what he did and dumped these people into our country.
Okay. Well, but I understand why I understand what you just said, but what's the president's strategy? What's he trying to achieve here?
Donald Trump is a very prideful and egotistical man. You understand what I'm saying? He wants to show who's boss, and he's trying to put his foot down on the ground to let him know he's not playing games.
Okay, so this is all posturing on his part?
No, I think he's willing to go forward and do what he needs to do. And I think he's just taking his stance, hoping that this man does something to work with him. If not, he's going to have to take action.
Okay. Dave, what do you think the president's strategy is with Venezuela?
Regime change and take over the oil capacity of the country under the guise of immigration reform.
Okay.
He's got a built-in excuse, and he wouldn't be the first politician to do it either. So.
By a show of fingers among the seven of you, who's concerned about a possible war between the U.S. and Venezuela?
Concerned about it happening, or concerned what would happen if there was a war?
Concerned about a possible war.
Oh, sure, definitely.
Okay. Just one of you. So since September 2nd, according to the Washington Post, the U.S. has attacked at least 20 boats in the Caribbean and the Eastern Pacific Ocean, suspected of carrying illegal drugs. In those attacks, at least 82 people have been killed. By a show of fingers, who supports using the U.S. military to take out suspected drug traffickers? None of you do. Okay. So let me just ask all 7 of you. President Trump has determined that the U.S. is in a formal armed conflict with drug cartels. And he has also determined that the crews of the boats are combatants. Why isn't it okay to take them out?
Fishing is not,
Hang on a second. Lisa, why is it not okay to take them out?
Because I don't know, again, it goes back to my original thing. I think there's more pressing issues within the country than worry about the drug cartels right now. I don't know. I just maybe I don't know enough about the drug cartels, but I just think we should be using it for other reasons. The military.
Okay. Eugenia, why isn't it okay to use the military to take out these drug traffickers?
Well, mostly it is on the sea, and I kind of treat sea as like a neutral, as a like a no war territory. So I don't want this happening, on the ocean or whatever, like on water.
Okay. Michael, why is it not okay?
As a veteran, it wasn't my job to take out drug cartels. It was my job to defend the United States against intrusion and enemies, foreign and domestic.
Okay, well, President Trump says that these boats are combatants, that they're fighting against the United States. They're bringing all kinds of poisonous drugs into the country. The president's determined that. It's his word. Why don't we just go out and take these guys out? Why isn't it okay for us to use the military that way?
See, the only problem is that once you start using the military, we're already spread thin. We're all over the world to begin with. Now you're going to have these terrorist organizations that might pop up that are drug cartel funded, that are going to stop operating and exposing sleeper cells within the United States, that are going to start to attack us from within.
That's scary.
So hold on a second. So Cynthia, why isn't it okay to take these guys out then?
I kind of echo what Lisa was saying. I think there's more pressing, important things that are going on our soil here. And I understand that they're trying to come into the country. Maybe Trump, I'm kind of like maybe a little on the fence with this question. I feel like they should be taken out, but again, the military, I don't know, it kind of sits in a weird spot for me.
Okay, got it. So President Trump just pardoned and released the former president of Honduras, Juan Orlando Hernandez, who was convicted last year of federal drug and weapons charges related to cocaine trafficking. Hernandez was serving a 45-year sentence. He claims he is innocent. By a show of fingers, who's heard this news that Trump let out the Honduran president? And 2 of you had. So I'd like to know whether you support this pardon, oppose the pardon, or don't know enough about it to have an opinion either way. Show of fingers. Who supports this pardon of the Honduran president? Nobody. Who opposes it? 3 of you do. Who doesn't know enough to not have an opinion either way? So, Christian, wait a second. Christian, do you oppose it or you don't have an opinion?
I mean, logically, I would oppose it because it's essentially pardoning exactly what he's trying to fight against. But I also haven't heard enough about the headline to.
Which comes closer to your opinion?
Opposing it.
Opposing it. Okay. So the 4 of you don't know enough to have an opinion either way. Okay. David, why do you oppose the pardon?
Because how can you possibly say that we're going to fight and basically be King Trump and declare war on Venezuelan drug dealers and then turn around and pardon a Honduran drug dealer? It's like there's no consistency of policy, makes no sense. It's like ridiculous. Plus, morally, if he's a drug kingpin, he should rot. So
got it. Okay.